I had a genius idea to put myself through the 4 hardest viral color challenges on the internet, back to back in one video. But here's the catch that actually makes this brutal. I'm running the whole thing like a video game. 4 levels, each one harder than the last, all the way up to the final boss, where I'm down to just one single color. No color mixing, nowhere to hide. So let's see if a pro artist can survive this gauntlet. And for our first level, we're starting out with a hard one, and that's the neon color challenge. Alright, so first up, I'm drawing Godzilla. So for those who don't know, I'm a lifelong fan. I've been watching the cartoons, the movies, I collected the toys. Today's the day to finally design a Godzilla piece. But before I jump in, here are the rules. So I can only use 5 colors. So I can only use the colors red, pink, yellow, orange, and I'm throwing in blue. But there is one major twist. I'm leaving out neon green. Alright, so right out the gate, I have my first problem. And that's me trying to figure out what's the best color to use for Godzilla's skin. So I think I'm gonna do something out of left field. I think I'm gonna go with neon pink. My only concern is that this monster is gonna look like Barney's angry uncle. That's my only concern. But I would love to hear from you guys. What color would you have chosen for Godzilla's skin color? Alright, so for those who are wondering why I would even do this to myself, I do this for a living. I am a professional graphic designer, professional artist. As of late, the client work has me pretty fried, and it just feels like I forgot to have fun as I'm doing my job. So this whole gauntlet I'm putting myself through is me trying to fall back in love with the process. Back to my dilemma. What goes with pink? I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I'll be able to use red or orange. So I guess my only option here is yellow. I think that has the most potential. Only concern I have for using yellow for the teeth is it's gonna look like he hasn't visited a dentist in years. But what I'm hoping for is the neon should let me get away with this. So now that I figured out yellow, this brings me to the tongue. So instead of going with the stereotypical red tongue, I think I'm gonna go with orange. Yellow and orange actually play nicely together. They are warm colors, right? Alright, so far I've used almost 3 of my colors, and now this brings me probably to one of the harder ones, and that's red. So I think the thing I could do with the red that makes the most sense is to use it for the pupils, since red and yellow do go together. And I think once I pair these, it will start to push him in more of the direction of a scary king of monsters, because that is the look that I'm going for. All the colors are starting to pair nicely. I'm starting to believe that I can make this happen. And this brings me to my last color, and that's the dark neon blue. And I think it'll be perfect for the outline of this entire design, and also filling it for inside the mouth. I got some bad news. I'm out of colors, and I usually like to have extra colors when it comes to doing the detail work, and I don't have that. I only have 5 colors, and none of them go together. And now that I think about it, I think I'm gonna do the inking trick. So for those who don't know, inking was a very popular technique that happens in comic book. You use a color like black or any darker color to create shadows. So that technique I just told you is what I'm going to use with my blue. All right, guys, time for the moment of truth. I think this came out pretty good. I'm not mad at it. The artist in me wishes I could have had a little bit more colors. I could have made this look really, really cool. I think I made it work. Let me know in the comments if you think I made this work. I'm gonna give myself a 7.5 out of 10 with this one. Now for the next round, I don't even get a chance to pick my colors. My friend, this one's not for the weak. It's time for level 2. So for this challenge, I'm drawing my Benji the cat mascot, but I'm gonna reimagine him as Woody from Toy Story. Alright, so here's the problem. Benji's known for his bright aqua fur, and unfortunately, I can't touch any of those colors this round. Here's the rules for this round. The internet has voted the 15 ugliest colors in the world, and I'm gonna take all those colors and put them in a box and pull 4 of them at random. And the kicker, I must use all 4 of those colors in my Benji as Woody design. Now, for the first thing I need to figure out is what color am I going to use for Benji's fur? I think my best option is the mustard yellow. I think that's gonna be my safest bet here. All right, guys, as much as I clowned yellow, this actually looks better than I expected. I think we're off to a pretty good start. So now that I got the yellow out the way, I think I'm going to use this darker, muddier purple for the cowboy hat and the bandana. As I'm doing this, I do have a concern. I'm really worried by using purple. I'm going to lose that iconic look that Woody's known for. All right, so before I even touch green, I really want to get brown out the way. And I think the best place for this color is on the vest. It's for me to color in the cow print. This brings me to the color I've been avoiding from the very beginning, and that's the green. And this is in the top 4 of the ugliest colors. If you're familiar with Toy Story, you already know that Woody wears a plaid shirt, and I'm not gonna be able to do that because I just don't have enough colors. So I think the next best option is just to go with a solid green for the shirt, and really hope it doesn't clash with the rest of the colors. And now that I know that the green works for his shirt, this brings me back to the brown. So I think this is gonna be the best color for me to use for the final details. And that's just because this is the only color out of all the colors I have that actually works with every color. So for me to use this for the details, especially since it's the darkest, probably makes the most sense. All right, folks, so I've used all 4 colors. I made them play pretty nicely together. I think this is passable. If I had to go back, there are a few things I would have changed. I probably would have taken the color green and used that for the hat and maybe reserved the purple for the shirt. I would give this a 6.5 out of 10. It's good. It's just not spectacular. So for the next round, I'm gonna be spinning a color wheel, and whatever color it lands on, that's what I have to use. I have no say so at all. Believe it or not, it gets even harder from here. So here's level 3. All right, so for level 3, I'm drawing Daredevil. I just finished a new season. It just gave me the idea that I just had to draw the Hell Kitchens hero. Here's the rules for this one. I'm gonna use a color spinner to help me to pick one color at random. And then I'm gonna have to build this entire piece on the color that it complements. Now, let's see what I get. And it looks like the winner is purple. So that means I'm going to be able to use either the color purple or yellow for this one. I think the best option that I should do is just use purple for the helmet. I think that makes the most sense. It does lock me into using yellow for the skin tone. I don't want this to look like a Simpsons character wearing a helmet, but I think the best thing that I could do is just to use the most muted yellow that I have here, which is my straw hat yellow. All right, so as you can see, I have my 2 colors and it looks pretty rough. Yeah. This is exactly how I saw this going. But don't worry, I have a solution. I need to add depth to this design, and I could do that by adding shadows into the helmet. I think if I use a darker purple and start working on the shadows, it should help to give this some depth. The way that I see this is it's almost like the sun is over his head. So that's how I'm gonna do the shadows. I think that will make this look pretty dynamic. I've done a pretty good job laying down the shadows. And you know what? The mask looks pretty good right now. Not too bad. In fact, I'm gonna take that same strategy and use that for the yellow. I'm just gonna take darker mustard yellow and use that on the skin tone. And I think that will help to make this look a little bit more believable. I'm gonna use the same strategy I did with the purple mask as far as where I'm putting the lighting. So I'm gonna have half the face with a shadow and the other half without it, just to add a little bit more depth to this design. It will make it look visually more interesting. I don't have enough colors to do highlights. I just don't, especially with the purple. I use the lightest purple to color the helmet. Probably should have thought of that before I did it, but you know, you live and you learn. So that leaves me with, how can I create a highlight if I no longer have a lighter purple? And I think I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna go with yellow. Yeah, the same yellow I use for the face. I think it's light enough for it to be on the helmet and give it a little bit of pop so it's believable. And after doing a few sections and not overdoing it, I think this was the right choice. I think this helps to tie it all together. I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I only had 2 colors to choose from, and I think we were able to make it work. Honestly, now that I look at it, if somebody was to tell me that this is like the Daredevil from like a multiverse or something like this, or an alternate outfit, I would believe it. And to me, that's a sign of success. So I'm good with this. I'm pretty happy with this. This is it. It's time for the final boss. So I'm talking 1 character, 1 color, no mixing, nothing to save me. All right, for our last challenge, I'm gonna continue this comic book theme that we have going on, and I'm gonna do one of my favorite characters from the Ninja Turtles, Leo. And the reason why I'm doing this is honestly for two reasons. One, I'm a 90s kid and I just love the Ninja Turtles. And number two, I just finished helping them out with a brand new campaign on a brand new project. So I guess I have the Turtles fresh on my mind. The Turtles are defined by their green and primary color bandanas. Can I still make this work if I strip away all of their iconic colors? Alright guys, so here's the rules for our final challenge. So I'm gonna have a person hold out cards with color names on it. So just to make this more difficult, you guys will be able to see what the colors are, but it's gonna be hidden from me. Then I'm gonna do a blind pick and pick one of these colors from random. Whatever color I pick, that is the colors I must use. I can't use anything outside of that. And the winning color is pink. Yeah, this is going to be very, very, very difficult. How do you make a Ninja Turtle out of only pink? And just to push this challenge to the limit and make it as hard as possible, I can only use pink shades that exist from Posca markers. I cannot mix at all. What shade of pink can I use that will make the most sense to replace the green? And after much consideration and going through my options, the best option I have is just to use a muted pink. If memory serves me correctly, that is used for Jigglypuff. I do not want my Leo looking like Jigglypuff. Alright, so now that I nailed down what color I'm going to use for his skin, this brings me to his bandana. What color can I use to replace that blue? But since the bandana is actually probably one of the most important accessories for the Ninja Turtles, and it's known to stand out, I think I should probably pick the brightest pink that I have. In my head, this needs to pop, like right off the paper. This brings me to, another hard one, and that's his shell. So here's what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to go with a cooler color, which really means I'm going to go with the coolest pink that I have in front of me. It's a toss-up, I'm not sure, but I think it should pair nicely with the muted pink that I had for his skin. In fact, now that I look at it, just how I drew everything, how everything's broken up, this color might also work really nicely for the bandages on his arm. And as I'm doing this, I'm slowly starting to see this come together. The swords is my next challenge. And since they're normally known to be dark gray, because these are samurai swords, I just don't have that option. For this, I'm thinking maybe a warm pink. You know what? I think the Posca coral might be the closest thing that I'm gonna get to as far as getting a darker samurai sword. After doing all the challenges from earlier, there's one thing that I've learned. I'm gonna take my darkest pink so I can do the details. I'm talking about the entire outline, all the shadows. It's really gonna help to give this some depth. All right, guys, after juggling way too many pinks, I think I have something that I'm happy with. I'm gonna rate this 8 point, nope, I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. And let me tell you my reasoning for this. In my opinion, I think people would absolutely know this is a Ninja Turtle, 100%. I think if I showed this to somebody, they would 100% know this is a Ninja Turtle. As much as using one color feels pretty much impossible, these pinks work pretty nicely together. But with that being said, I would love to hear what you guys would call this pink Ninja Turtle. I'm thinking Picanardo, maybe? Alright guys, all 4 challenges are done. I honestly came into this pretty drained creatively, and after doing this, it really feels like I'm starting to get my creative juices flowing. Just like I said earlier, just doing this challenge has given me the idea to do a spin-off series with my Benji the Cat character. So in my book, this entire thing was a win. But I would love to hear from you guys. What challenge do you think I should do next? Definitely let me know in the comments. If you like this one, then trust me, you're really gonna love this next one that's here on screen.